Welcome to Love Life. I'm Dr. Babe, and we're here at Whiskey Mist, and we're talking about long-distance relationships with my friend Janelle Damiani. Yeah. So you graciously decided that you would come on the show and share with us a little bit about your experience this year and maybe what led up to this year.
Yeah.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you, and congratulations on your show.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's global.
Yeah, well, that's the goal. So hopefully people will get a little bit of a snippet of kind of my idea. Last week we talked a little bit about the backstory of Dr. Babe, so maybe they'll understand my intention.
I saw it. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. I started watching when I was away too, so that was pretty cool. So I shared it with some people in Toronto. Which was
Thank you.
Yeah.
And now here you are.
Here I am, still on rollover, just visiting.
Okay. So, but you're here for on a tourist visa, but then you're coming back for sure?
I plan to come back, yes.
Okay, and I've met your boyfriend now.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what your relationship, or where it's at now, and how it got to this point.
Okay.
Or you can start wherever you want, really.
Yeah, no, it's great. It was actually, we had no problems, which was a great thing to be able to talk about, because long distance relationships are not easy. No. I've been in them before, and they were trouble, and I didn't want to do a long distance relationship this time, but I decided to, and I think I chose the right person. You know, it was the right relationship for it. So.
And how long have you been with Chris?
It would be 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know that you were in a long-term relationship before that.
Yes.
And I don't know if you want to share a little bit about how maybe you met Chris, or how you got together.
Yeah. I mean, it is a small island, so I kind of always knew who he was. But yeah, it wasn't until a little bit after that we started hanging out. And I guess it's always tough to think about too, because our relationship, my previous relationship, was very long. So if anyone knows me, they know I've been in a relationship for a really long time. So it's definitely something new, especially being on island for 9 years. So
right.
Yeah.
But how did you come to Cayman anyway?
Yeah, okay.
Go way back.
Where do I start? I moved here in 2007 I tried for massage therapy, but I ended up working at Eats and Legends because I just wanted to be on island.
Right.
And I ended up really enjoying the place and decided to stay, and stayed in the restaurant industry just because I liked the people and I liked the tourists. And I did do massage for a little bit. I was working for a chiropractor.
Okay.
I worked for the radio a little bit.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, worked with good old Jason Howard. Yep.
I know, we're just like a big family on this show. We keep, kind of crossing paths.
I saw your episode with them, yeah.
I thought that was a fun one. He's a good guy. So you've done like a lot of different things here, and I'm taking it that you fell in love with the island.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Enough for me to want to come back, for sure. So.
Right. So I guess maybe you'd share a little bit about what that experience was like when you realized you had to leave.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, everyone always asks me, why didn't you apply for permanent residency? And I thought about it. I actually almost considered it. I guess it was kind of a blessing in disguise. I just recently lost my grandmother in July, so by not applying for PR, I was able to go home and spend some time with her before she passed away, which was awesome. But I'm glad that I did it. It was refreshing. It was nice to be home and nice to be with family and just kind of experience a little bit. Sometimes when you're here, I mean, you get so caught up and so busy being on island that it's nice to be away. So it made me truly realize what I missed. Like, even though I was leaving and I was like really excited to have that feeling of missing it, the actual experience had a bigger impact on me, for sure.
And I know you were very close with your grandmother.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you had some time with her as well.
Absolutely. It was good.
And you've been away almost a year now.
Yeah, it'll be a year, December 20th.
Did it go fast?
Yeah. Now that I'm here, it definitely went really fast. I think like the middle part, like in July, that was the hardest because I was like, I just literally felt like it wasn't going to end, but yeah.
I know you got to come like on vacation.
Yep.
1 or 2 times?
Yeah, I did in February and I did in June.
Okay.
So I could have done more, but.
Yeah. Did it make it easier for the relationship to be able to come and visit your boyfriend?
I think the best part with this long distance relationship is we made it a point to visit each other as much as we could. So I think that really helped. Not just the trusting part, but to be able to see someone.
Right.
Really helped. So, we'd go maybe 7 weeks apart, So whether he'd come and visit me or I came in June or whatever, so
Yeah.
that really helps. So
It sounds
aside
like
from like Skype and all of those, like social media is so easy to, you know.
true.
Yeah.
Technology is good for long distance relationships.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem to be, I guess, a really bad experience with a long distance relationship, whereas maybe other people have had a lot more struggles with it. Maybe you got it to work for you.
Yeah, I think it helps. I think it really helps who your partner is. I think it really helps the kind of relationship that you have. I went into this long distance relationship feeling very confident about our relationship being apart. So that was a huge factor. And just little things, you know, making sure that you call one another every day and talk to each other. And, you know, maybe it doesn't happen every single day, but that's a really big deal, you know,
Yeah.
as opposed to, I mean, I've been in a long distance relationship before where I didn't hear from him for a week. You know, that brings on trouble. And so the communication is really important.
So you have obviously a traditional monogamous relationship,
Yes.
And so that requires a lot of trust, a lot of commitment, a lot of communication, and in order for it to be successful on any day, right? Let alone like a long distance situation. But it sounds like, you know, you've gotten through it now. So now if you're moving back,
Yeah.
then it's going to transition into just a regular traditional relationship with each other
I
in
think
the same
so,
place.
yeah. Hoping, yeah, so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say our relationship is very active and we're always doing stuff and hanging out with people. But yeah, I mean, so far it still feels the same, which is great. So, yeah.
Well, I was wondering, I don't know if you don't feel comfortable answering, please, you don't have to, but at what point do you, I guess when you're dating, you're single, whether it's with one person or multiple people, at some point you kind of decide like you want to choose someone, basically. Did you have that experience with Chris, like where maybe it was a little bit more, not casual, but just you were dating, you were single, and then started to choose him, or?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been in a relationship, so I don't know. I mean, you know me from like we've known each other a while, so you've always known I've been in a relationship. I'm always in a relationship, I feel. So I just know, I guess. And I think that's just the way I make my choices. It's that if I feel that person is the right person, I just go with it. You know, there's usually no doubts.
So you didn't have like that period of dating multiple people or kind of getting to know?
No, I actually didn't.
But, I think a lot of people are like
Should
that. No. But I think that, there are people that prefer that, and then there are people that are like you, and they just, they are more like, this is not a derogatory term, but just more serial monogamists,
Yep.
right? So you just get into a relationship with someone that you like and then see how it goes.
Serial monogamous. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I'm glad it sounds good to you. I didn't want you to feel offended by that.
I understand, right? I have friends that they want to be single and they want to enjoy and they like the freedom and I totally understand why. Yeah, I'm an independent person and I do love my alone time.
Yeah.
But I also do love being in a relationship. I'm a very affectionate person, which was a hard thing on a long distance relationship.
Yeah.
But which is why I didn't want to do a long distance relationship, because I love the
touch.
effect, I like that. So, but I still, the independence, I can understand. It's important to be alone and to find yourself. And
so how do you make that work with the alone time? What sort of, do you just communicate and say, hey, I feel like going off and doing my thing or spending time with my girlfriends?
Yeah, and we do that now, even when we're in person before. We're very independent people. He's got stuff going on, I got stuff going on, so I'm not clingy. I'm not like, don't leave the house type thing, but which I think works. I think it's just all about a balance. I think it's really important to talk about those things also, as opposed to just doing and, not discussing. I think that brings on problems in the future, but just knowing that, you both have something going on and actually communicating it, I think is important, and it helps the future also.
Yes.
Like I'm away from the house right now on TV, so.
How did he feel about you coming on the show?
Oh, he's fine. He's in the water surfing, so.
He's not even thinking about it. His mind is off of it right now.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I was going to do a show, which I still might, on using a couple about the 5 love languages. Have you ever heard about that?
I have, yeah.
Have you looked into it? Have you done the little quiz that they ask you to do online?
I've never done the quiz, but I do know like all the different ones. Are you asking me to name them right now?
Well, you mentioned touch.
Yes.
And so that's what made me think about it
Yeah.
is, the 5 love languages basically is the way that we communicate and express our love for, our significant others. And even in our relationships, we'll be surprised sometimes to recognize that your partner may have a different love language. So when you take the test, it kind of narrows it down to the top 2. And I believe mine were touch and words of affirmation or something like that. And when you recognize what yours are, I think it helps you communicate a little bit more. Like, I need that. That's something that I need in order to feel, I guess, safe.
Yep.
You feel like that commitment is there, you're reassured, and all those sorts of things. But it's just your natural way of expressing yourself. So if you're not doing it, it feels like uncomfortable for you.
This is true, yeah.
So without that, that must have been really hard.
Yeah, for a long distance. Because, think about it. If you're 2 people that are actually away, what do you do? You don't get the, is it physical touch I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't have that. But, like I said, it really helped that we saw each other a lot while we were away, So going 7 weeks apart for a long distance relationship, I guess, do you really call it a long distance relationship at that point? But a month goes by fast when you're working. So
Right.
it really helps. Next thing you know, it's like, oh, it's been a month. I'll see you in a few days,
Right.
At so-and-so's wedding or whatever. So I think that helps because I can go a month just being totally busy and then be like, oh yeah, okay, great. I'm going to see you soon. So.
Maybe I should get Chris to join you on a show for couples
Yeah.
when you're back.
Sure.
We'll have to work on him a little bit, but maybe that's something that we can do. I think it'd be good to show the audience a little bit about what couples counseling may be like. Just a
Yeah.
little snippet, not like delving too far into private life.
We'll
but
convince someone who's drinking.
yeah, or surfing.
Yeah, right?
But are you happy now that obviously this long distance period of time between the 2 of you is over, and that now when you get to move back, is there any nervousness that you have about moving forward?
No, actually, I'm glad that you brought it up. I'm actually really looking forward to this new year. I found being on rollover was very, not overwhelming, but what's the word I used the word when I was in Toronto. It was an interesting year. It was really hard because being away, you don't want to establish yourself if you know that you're coming back.
Right.
So I found that really hard to find. I found it hard to find my place being away because I was kind of putting myself on hold,
Right.
knowing that I was coming back. So things would come up and little opportunities, and I'd take some here and there, but at the same time, I wasn't really doing much. So I'm looking forward to having this new year, which he's going to be a part of because there's going to be a lot of big changes happening and a lot of growth for myself in my career, and I'm happy to have him come along with me. So this year's going to be very busy for me, and I think that's important as opposed to maybe me coming back and not doing anything. So I think because I have that to look forward to. I think that's really valuable, and I think that's really good for our relationship too, because he's very supportive, and he's always pushed me in that kind of direction, and that's very helpful, and it's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even good change can be stressful.
Yeah.
Like even if it's something that you're looking forward to, it's something that's positive. In mental health, we talk about that being a stress as well on our, anxieties, our moods, and things like that. And so being ready for that can be something that you anticipate in a way that brings on some level of anxiety, which, some anxiety is not necessarily bad.
Yeah.
But having that to look forward to and maybe stepping into that growth, right, in your relationship and seeing it progress to the next stage could be really exciting for you.
This is true. It could go either way. It could go really well, or it could not go well at all.
Yeah, we'll have an update like in a couple of months or in a year.
In 6 months. Be like, so how are you?
Well, whatever happens, I think that it can be an important part of our own personal development, right? To put ourselves in these situations and to really just go with it,
Yeah.
to see where things go, to take that risk, and to be willing and open to seeing things, just challenging yourself. to be more transparent, to be more open, to be more just intimate, emotionally intimate with someone, it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not.
And some people that I've talked to have actually appreciated long distance because it's allowed them that freedom to have kind of a distance, obviously, like emotionally.
In a way, not to say it's like being single and developing yourself when you're going through a breakup, but in a way, it gave me an opportunity to really develop myself, not being single. I know I'm still in a relationship, but I'm still figuring myself out, and there's a lot of things I realized that I was interested in doing this past year that I don't know if I would have thought of, because I was all by myself, so yeah, it's good. And you never know. I mean, you'll see how that happens in the future with the relationship, but yeah.
I know for me, when I've had an experience of long distance relationships, I'm trying to think, there have been a few instances, but the most recent one, I would say it wasn't really a relationship, but it was the offer of a long distance relationship. And I guess like some people are very adverse to it because of obviously the challenges. But I think that it's a personal choice, obviously, but if you really care about someone, if that's the person that you fit with, that it just makes sense, then obviously when these things come up, it shouldn't be the end of the relationship unless the fear is something that just, you can't get past.
Yeah.
So for you, I mean, was there a moment of fear where you faced it and were like, I don't know?
It's funny, we talked about this yesterday, actually, while you guys were literally sitting next to us at dinner, but like, we actually said, we had no issues, we had no dramas, which I'm impressed with because, like you just mentioned, I went into this with I had a bad taste in my mouth over long distance relationships in the past because they failed, and you can't help but kind of think of those. You don't want to put them in towards the new relationship, but I remembered what failed in those. So in a way, I guess that kind of helped because I did my part as much as I could to try to make sure that I wasn't doing anything wrong, maybe that I did previously. Also, he wasn't doing anything. He was proving to me within the long distance relationship that the other one before,
right,
where it failed, he was doing otherwise something positive. So I can definitely see what you're saying. Like it's you get that kind of bad taste, but then I wanted to think positively with it and think, okay, well, if this is the way it happened before, then okay, I'm going to do differently this time to see how it works. And I'm also a different person now too,
right,
as opposed to way in the past.
Yes.
As a child in the past. So.
Well, I guess it's just the cliche baggage, right, that each person sort of comes into a relationship with. And if you don't sort through that, if you're not willing to look at maybe the lessons that you learned and grow from it, then you do kind of carry it into the next relationship, and it's almost like it's a trigger for old wounds.
Yeah.
Instead of really looking at what you're dealing with currently, being in the present moment with your partner, you're really just acting on memories of the past, and that can keep you from something good.
Absolutely.
And even if it's hard, even if it's challenging, so what? You have to, spend a year apart. You've made it through.
Yeah.
And that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. To try to not be pessimistic about it and be more optimistic was a huge part. But also, you need to have confidence in your relationship, 100%. You need to have trust, because that's a very hard thing to do, is to trust someone when you don't see them there all the time. Yeah. Compromise is really important. Making the compromise to be able to see each other, or to, do the Skype or have the conversation, all of that stuff is really important.
So how did you compromise with him? I mean, I think compromise is such an important thing in a relationship, in order to put yourself aside and think about what the relationship needs in order to succeed, and then negotiate that together, right, without having sort of an idea of an outcome. I mean, it sounds like you did a good job with the communication and compromising there, but were there other things that you compromised on?
I would say, making sure the visiting worked. I had a really hard time, obviously, after losing Nanny, trying to make the effort to kind of pick myself up off the floor, not take it out on him, I kind of went through a little bit of depression, obviously because I was alone, and when she passed away, I'd moved to Toronto. My family's on the East Coast. So, you know, really compromising and kind of just putting that aside for a second to avoid any sort of confrontation, you know, because sometimes I wouldn't realize it, but I could be very upset, and then all of a sudden I may feel like I'm getting mad at him for something that's ridiculous when I'm actually just really upset about what's going on. So I don't know if that's compromise, but maybe in a way just, you know, compromising my feelings and just, you know, which he was very understanding, but still having to remember that it's really not, it's not him, it's
Right.
myself, kind of just putting that aside. And, you know, if we meet in person, then I'm not upset in any sort of way while I'm seeing him, because I'm really happy to see him, you know.
Yeah.
So
I would call that emotional intelligence.
trying.
You know, and I think that's good. That's definitely necessary. It's also what I would call relationship intelligence, right?
Okay.
Because I think they're related. Basically, that self-awareness that you have of your emotions not being about him, right? That's
Yeah.
so important, because you see yourself as separate, and like you have your own reactions to things, and being able to communicate that to him so that he knows not to take it personally, not to attribute it as to like something that's wrong in the relationship, but
Right.
just something you're experiencing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that, you know, is a skill that you have, and maybe he has as well, but it's so important because, yeah, a lot of people would take it personally and then start fighting and create more problems than anything.
I think it's only natural too, you know, not that maybe people don't have relationship intelligence, they probably do and they don't even realize it. But just not realizing sometimes that there's something going on deeper inside, and being able to discuss it too really helps as well, you know, so I agree.
Is he like that
I like
as
that
well?
word.
Is he able to talk about his feelings and...
He is, yeah. He absolutely is. I think it really depends on the situation. I think for anyone, you know, obviously, you know, you don't want to come home from work and vent about anything. You know, you want to just enjoy your time. But you know, if there's anything that's bothering him, he you know, he does like to sit and chat about it. We like to sit, maybe open up a little bit. Yeah, he's fine.
So are the two of you very private about your relationship?
I would say
Other
so.
than this present
Yeah,
moment?
yeah. Other than like right now in this very moment, I'm spilling my beans. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. If you're talking about like social media
Yeah.
and stuff like that, yeah. I mean, if you've ever like creeped my Facebook, I mean, I don't. Yeah.
You're not in a relationship on Facebook?
I actually don't think we're in a relationship on Facebook.
No.
Note to self.
You don't have to be, and a lot of
Yeah.
times people will say that's a mark of a successful relationship, is
Well,
being able to, you know.
Technically, in this day and age, we're not in a relationship because we're not in a relationship on Facebook. So
That's true.
Yeah.
But I think that there is truth to that, not the Facebook thing, but the actual, the less you hear, the better it usually is. And some people, I mean, I think they
Yeah.
do kind of try to showcase their relationship and all their, you know, anniversaries, and I think that's beautiful as well. But, you know, to each his own. And
I
if
get way
that's-
more questions.
Do you?
Yeah, because no one knows what's going on.
Okay.
So-
Well, now they do.
Yeah. I've got the, oh my gosh, are you still in a relationship? Yeah, because no one knows. So I guess that makes sense.
Well, when you come back, I'm sure that you will be, you know, having a normal life together. Well, you lived together before
Correct.
you left, right? So you're going to be coming back into your same house and sort of resuming that relationship.
Yep.
But now it's taken a different form. Now it's evolved. It's grown, and you've grown.
I have.
You've had
Yeah.
different experiences. To
I'm an
now,
adult now.
You're an adult.
Yeah.
This is it. This is what made you an adult.
I'm actually an adult now. Yeah.
Well, you know, I know emotionally as well, losing your grandmother was a big deal, and that's something that you've gone through together now. But when you come back, do you feel ready for, I guess, I don't know, I guess you sound more open-ended, like you're not really looking for a particular outcome in the relationship. You're happy to just be together.
Yeah. No, and I that's what I love about it. You know, it's there's no pressure. We are in a relationship, and that's absolutely what's important to me. I've never trying to force anything, neither he, and I think that's exactly where we're heading also, which is perfect for me. You know, we just do our thing, and I couldn't be more happy for that. So, yeah.
Well, what kind of advice would you give to people who are looking for that kind of successful, monogamous, traditional relationship?
Know yourself, know what you want, and really try to understand who you are with. Really understand that person, because I think as a woman you have that gut feeling, and you really need to follow that, especially when it comes to trying to figure out if he is the one for you. You know, you always get mixed signals, and sometimes you get a lot of bad stuff, and you try to hold on because maybe you have this idea of what it could be, but just know your gut and follow your heart.
So, why is Chris the one for you?
Wait, where are we going? He is the one for me because he makes me very happy, and there's no better place for me than true happiness. I feel very comfortable. We are very active together, which I really enjoy. I think it's very healthy. He's a really good cook, and he likes long walks on the beach. Yeah.
Sorry to put you on the hot spot, but I think it's important to know and show that, you know, it's that love, you know, it's just undeniable. You follow your gut, you know who it is, you choose them every day, and it's not just a Hallmark card. It's something and someone that you share your life with on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So it has to be someone who you can. It's almost like, you know, your best friend.
Yeah.
You don't have to change for them. You just exist with them, and it makes your life even better.
This is happening. Yeah. This is true.
I'm so happy for you, Janelle.
Thank you.
I'm glad to see you happy. I'm glad to see you back soon. And I'm really appreciative for you being on the show.
Thank
I hope
you.
it wasn't too uncomfortable for Chris to...
Maybe in 6 months.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, we'll do a recap over that
Yeah.
by then. Okay?
I got to see what I look like, and then I can come back 6 months.
No problem. But hopefully we'll get to catch up again soon.
I'll see you on the beach.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thanks everyone for tuning in to Love Life with Dr. Babe and for listening to Janelle Damiani's story about her long distance relationship in love.